Hi, ladies and gentlemen, Tiger fans. Welcome to beautiful, historic Ron Herron Gymnasium for another episode of Around the Court with Coach Flanagan. We're lucky enough, fortunate enough today to have as our guest former Flora Wolves player, IBCA Junior High Hall of Fame coach, and current legendary Flora Wolves broadcaster, Mr. Larry McGrew. Larry, thanks for being with us.
Thanks.
We are going to go around the court. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Sprint or walk?
Just a walk.
Okay.
Where was your first basketball coaching job at?
Johnsonville. I went to grade school there. It's about 16 miles southwest of Flora, and I went to grade school there and came back and coached.
It feeds into Sisney High School, right?
Yeah, it did, and everything. And I coached 11 teams, and I made $1,000.
Let's do the math.
Yeah.
Best player you played against when you were in high school?
Probably played right here, Brad Richards.
Pretty good player.
Pretty good.
Former Tiger.
Pretty good.
Favorite Boston Celtic player? I know you're a Celtic fan.
Oh, the Bird, Larry Bird.
Larry Legend.
Oh, Larry Legend. When I retired, he sent me a letter. Because somebody over there knew I loved him and like that, and they talked to him.
Hooked you up with it.
He sent me a letter.
Good player. What was your first car or truck that you owned?
1959 Ford Galaxy, and my wife said, make sure you tell him about the white fuzzy cat in the back seat. When you hit the blinker, the left light went on, his eyeball, and the right blinker went on, his right eye hit the brakes, both eyeballs went on. It's a fuzzy cat.
You were highfalutin, to say the least. Best Illinois high school basketball team that you've ever seen?
I think it might have been that team that beat Mount Carmel. You know, a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Had 71. Yeah. We got to stop right here. We're going to stop right here. Well, I played basketball for OCC, and my wife, not my wife then, but my wife was a cheerleader. The ball went out of bounds right here, and she went and got the ball, and she gave me the ball and gave it to me, and I winked at her. It's Hollywood.
The rest is history.
I wasn't dating then. Married 52 years. Right there.
Right here around here in Jim, where dreams happen.
That's it.
Dreams come true.
That's like Hollywood.
Favorite gym that you have to broadcast a game other than Conley?
Right. Van Day, we sit right there at the half line, right behind the announcers and everything, and you're right there on the floor.
Close quarters.
Yeah.
Worst injury you've suffered when you were an athlete?
Well, when I was over here playing for OCC and everything like that, I started having some bad pains right on top of my foot.
That's because of this floor, probably.
Well, from running wind sprints. And so it's like a knife right through the top of your foot. There's like metatarsal stuff. Had to put a pad under there and wrap it up because it's like Mark's foot in the army, and you had to get all the bones.
You need some support.
Oh,
yeah,
mercy.
This is a hard court right here. Who is the best, in your time coaching, who do you think is the best leader that you've ever had on your team or that you've ever seen, maybe associated with teams you've been around?
Had some great players and everything like that. Well, one team was grade school 26-2. Jim Locum, who went on to play at Air Force Academy with Martin, Tennessee, and he was the type of kid. One time I remember distinctly up at Effingham in a timeout, he was 7 for 7 and 14 points at halftime, and one of our other players was not hitting too well. And he asked me, would it be okay if I passed the ball to him to get him going?
Yeah.
Not many.
That's pretty good.
Not many superstars.
Thinking of some others.
No. Oh, well, you had, superstars like that. His brother, Tim Locum.
Wisconsin.
7 games over 40, and he had averaged 36.6, had 696 points that year. So
that's a lot of points.
Had Stanley boys, Lee boys.
We'll get to them in a minute.
Lee boys.
Favorite TV show?
Oh, that show a few years ago, 24.
Oh,
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, good show.
Oh, you couldn't miss an episode.
Got to stay with it. What about what's you think the coolest sporting event that you've ever attended live?
Oh, I tell you what. Well, went to some Cub games. If you've never been to Wrigley Field, you got to be there.
I've been there.
Went over and saw the Celtics play a couple times over in Indiana.
All pretty
okay. Cool. And then when Flying Illini trying to win the conference, and a guy called me and wanted to know if I wanted to go see him play Michigan. And they played Michigan. Oh, mercy, they about tore that concrete roof off.
If you could create your favorite meal,
okay,
what would it be? Include dessert and a drink.
Okay, probably about ribeye, mashed potatoes and gravy, baked beans, maybe a little macaroni, a salad.
I love it.
Milk.
How about dessert?
Milk. Oh, you got to have coconut pie. You got to have
good
coconut
stuff.
pie.
Excellent. All right, here's our last question. Name something that's still on your bucket list.
Well, probably, and of course, Rick, I coach against Rick right there, Rick Franklin and everything, and he's like the Cardinals, I like the Cubs. I'd like to see a Cub World Series game at Wrigley Field, and it's just like the other one. How about 9 innings and winning the bottom of the ninth?
That's a good one. Now, I want to tell you guys something. Everybody said that I could not get around this court and ask 10 to 12 questions with Larry McGrew because he has a lot of experience and a lot of great stories. I told him if we did this, that we were going to reward him with what I'm going to call our first ever bonus segment on Around the Court with Coach Flanagan. You came through. The bonus session is going to be this. Coach does a great job. Love listening to him announce. Do color and so forth. We're going to play.
Always treated you pretty good.
A little word, you better more after that. A little word association with Coach McGrew. We're going to cover his McGrewisms in just one moment.
Round and round, what comes around goes around.
All right, here's our bonus segment with Larry McGrew. We're going to go through some McGrewisms that tend to pop up on Wolves basketball broadcasts. Quaker State ball.
Slick, can't hold on to it, like a greased pig.
Colder than the Blue Mound Road.
Oh, that's when we're shooting terribly, and one day I looked out and there's ice and snow on the Blue Mountain Road, and that night we couldn't hit a lick. And I said, you know what, we're shooting as cold as the Blue Mountain Road.
Turnover.
Oh, more turnovers than the bakery. That'll kill you.
How about the fight doctor? I've heard that.
Oh, Louis Lusk. He was a fight doctor anytime there's blood-borne pathogen. Louis is sitting on the bench, and we got him out there, and he brought that bottle of kill Ebola, flesh-eating disease, bring that out, and he'd take care of it.
Take care of it. Home petting Lassie.
Always told him on the first day, and Coach Franklin probably told his guys too, you're out here to play basketball. First, you got to get your education, and and if you don't want to do that or whatever, you could be home petting Lassie. You don't have to be out here practicing.
Many need to be.
Yeah.
Voodoo.
Oh, voodoo, that's when slow, deliberate, methodical, mesmerized, hypnotized, and paralyzed. Now, you get into that a little bit.
You don't like that.
Well,
that's why we get into it.
No, you do.
Linda Ronstadt, Blue Bayou.
Linda Ronstadt, Blue Bayou. You can't give up baseline. So if you don't get your foot out of bounds and they go by you and score like that, it's Linda Ronstadt, Blue Bayou.
Big hit for her. How about I Walk the Line?
Johnny Cash. You can have it down there. Baseline, half line, anywhere. You're tiptoeing back and forth trying to save the balls. Johnny Cash, I Walk the Line.
How about, when might someone be, in basketball, be happier than a dog wagging two tails?
Especially when you win. Especially when you win, and especially if it's overtime. Then it's happier than a dog wagging two tails.
How about Leonard Skinner?
Give me 3 steps. How many times in basketball anymore, fundamentals, they take 3 or 4 steps, like rugby,
I get it.
Give me 3 steps.
I'm gonna end the McGrewisms and word association with this. I know they're kind of legends in these parts. Can you tell me a little bit of the story of the Noni brothers?
Noni brothers, they just come over, Coach Franklin, have those track meets and everything like that. At that time, we didn't have some pits and all that, so we'd come over, and I'd just fill out the stuff and send it in to Coach and put it on their pole vaulters, N-O-N-E, Noni brothers, never cleared a height in 30 years.
And what did that actually mean?
None.
None.
I have no pole vaulters. I have no pole, and Rick had a dozen.
And thus the Noni brothers were born.
The Nonis were born, and they've become legendary.
I got to ask you this. I hear a lot of broadcasts. I like to listen to the post-game show when I'm coming home after scouting. I scout a little bit every now and then.
Well, I told you, saw you down at Wayne City a couple of years ago, being capital of the world.
Give me, if you could do a starting 5 maybe, and I'll throw a 6th man in. I'll throw a Frank Ramsey, a Hondo Havlicek in there, a 6th man.
Hondo.
Give me your top 6 all-time Flora Wolf nicknames.
Well, when I was a freshman, Pat Hand, he was over here too. Pat Hand was my freshman coach. He nicknamed me Speedy.
Speedy McGrew.
And one of our best friends, or one of my best friends, played not with me, but a year behind me, lunch meat. And we had another guy that didn't take real good care of his hair. And he got out of the shower. I won't mention names. Come to school like that. And he looked like his hair was got up and did it with a rake. Mosshead. Had another guy who had some nice ears on him, and we called him Ears.
Makes sense.
Had another guy, Pedro. Another guy's my cousin, Pedro. He played football, basketball, and stuff like that. And then we had another one. His name wasn't Beeve. but they called him Beeve and Bob and whatever else came to mind.
I got you.
Yeah, so that's a few.
Those are pretty good. Hey, this has been a fantastic time.
Appreciate it.
I have probably laughed and cried more before we started filming than in any other episode.
Mars Leonard could hunt geese with a rake. Mars
He
Leonard.
could. Hey, this has been Coach Flanagan and my very special guest and good friend Larry McGrew on another episode of Around
Can
the
I brag
Court.
on you a touch?
Go.
Hey, you've had a nice career, a great career over here, successful career. I've known almost all the coaches here, there, and yonder, and like that, and you showed me the locker room and stuff. Unbelievable, and all this stuff in the hallways and like that. I think you should embrace that. I think you're a historian. I believe in that too. Anymore, you see all these things on TV and everything, the best, the greatest, the best. Enjoy the water, but don't forget who dug the well.
Absolutely.
And I think history stuff should be kept,
I
preserved. and all that.
totally agree. Hey, this has been Coach Flanagan, Larry McGrew. Another episode of Around the Court with Coach Flanagan. Go Tigers.